The first card of the Paramount era for UFC will go down January 24th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Pretty stacked card, top to bottom, a lot of names. The criticism on the spinoff, though, obviously had to do with the choice of the main event. Arman Tsarukyan, the number one contender at lightweight, will not get the title shot. Neither will the champion, by the way, Ilia Topuria, who said for personal reasons going to have to take some time off. Luke, I know you don't want to talk about failed relationships here and the dating of these fighters.
I don't mind talking about it as a factor that contributes to his athletic life. I just don't care about the details.
We tend to believe maybe a divorce or a separation in his private life, relationship-wise, is going to keep him out of action. So the UFC went in the direction instead of Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje for the interim lightweight title. Over
what an adult response.
The co-main event, a historic one, as the women's go. Amanda Nunes comes out of retirement to face former teammate Kayla Harrison for the bantamweight title. A lot of good fights underneath that, and then you hear rumors, I don't know if it's official, that the following week it's going to be back-to-back PLEs in this era.
Yes.
UFC heading to Australia for UFC.
No, that's not. Dana confirmed that.
Oh, UFC 325, which
in
will
Sydney.
be Alexander Volkanovski in a rematch for the featherweight title with Diego Lopez, despite Movsar Evloev, Lerone Murphy. A lot of us thinking we're going to break that down, but got a little bit spicy back and forth with the competitors involved. So spicy that we got on the horn and called our friends at Cuervo for a little something we call shots fired. Yeah, of course, Shots Fired is presented by Cuervo. Now is a good time to enjoy the tequila that invented tequila. Before we get our guest Jed Meshew's reaction to this, let's go to the videotape Arman Tsarukyan caught up with ESPN's Brett Okamoto to react to him being left out of the next title shot.
I already knew Paddy gonna fight with Ilia Topuria in January. But I didn't know they're gonna do interim title versus Gaethje and Paddy. They already set up that all things. Ilia didn't fight, and I think this is UFC game plan. It's not like family issue or something. It's they wanna make star Paddy Pimblett to fight for the title with Topuria as a bigger name and make it like a big fight. Managers, they already know that they wanna make the fight. Ilia versus Paddy. I already knew that 4 or 5 months ago. They told me, no, it's gonna happen. Like, be ready. Like, they know I could beat everybody. That's why they didn't give me title fight. Paddy, for me, it's a easy work. Justin, it's a easy work. Ilia, easy work. Bullshit guy like a Paddy. He beat just one rank, number 12, and like they made a fake ranking and put him on the 5. But I hope Justin gonna beat his ass, kick his ass, and we're gonna forget about Paddy. Justin, if you need the help, let me know. I'll fly to you and help you. I want him to win. You know that bullshit guy. I hate him. I hate Paddy.
I hate him. By the way,
calling someone a bullshit guy is
great.
That's a deep cut.
Pimblett will be fighting his first opponent under the age of 38 in 3 years against the 37-year-old Justin Gaethje. Before we get some reaction here, Ilia Topuria did jump in on the socials saying, Paddy, win your next fight. Hands up, chin down, and Arman Peta. This dance is for you.
I don't get.
Oh, yes. Let's see the dance.
Yeah. This is BC at his prom, by the way.
That looks like me at our London podcast festival live show.
Yes, it actually does. Yeah. The puzzle pieces in the back are quite nice. Okay.
Let's start right here with our guest. Jed Meshew, I'm sure you reacted to this, and I'm going to guess maybe it was negative. Why is Arman getting the shaft here?
The cynical answer is they don't want him to potentially beat Ilia Topuria. And this is
I thought it was they don't want him to beat Paddy. You're saying even further, they don't want him to beat Ilia.
I mean, I think the cleanest view that I have on this, and I could totally be wrong, but I don't know. It's like once Arman beat the shit out of, he thumped Dan Hooker, right? Once he does that, he has to be the guy to fight Ilia next. Unless there's an interim champion, because that guy naturally gets preference. So let's have, Paddy and Gaethje fight. And that's why Arman Tsarukyan's not fighting for an interim belt, because they would rather Ilia Topuria not fight Arman, which he could win. I think we all think Ilia could beat Arman, but I also think we all acknowledge that's his toughest fight. So let's give him an easier one whenever we do get Ilia back in there. That feels to me like the simplest answer.
Look, is this punishment for Arman fighting just once? each of the last 3 years, pulling out of the title shot in January during fight week with a back injury during weight cut issues. And let's say it, having enough family money where he can fly private, eat camel after a win, and negotiation-wise not be subject to the same pushing and pulling from the UFC because he has that leverage. Or is it as simple as what Jed's saying? They think that he might crush Paddy, not to mention might take the title from Ilia.
I mean, the reality is this is not super complicated to figure out. If the promotion really likes you, you will get fast-tracked. And if they don't,
Just
you
ask
will
Diego
get
Lopez.
Yes, you will get slow-tracked. I mean, this is not new. This is not very controversial to say. Now, there are other factors, as you indicate, BC. They clearly they want to put some muscle and some energy behind Paddy Pimblett. Fair enough. Also, on its own terms, I don't think any of us would argue Paddy versus Gaethje is somehow a bad fight.
No, Paddy needs a fight like this.
I think this fight makes total sense. I think this fight's good.
Just not as a
I'm
headlining
interested
for interim
in
title?
this fight. The location of it is weird, but I even totally get why they're doing it. Like I get this being the main event over. It's weird to hold that competing idea of like, this is the greatest women's fight of all time, but it's not as important as an interim title fight between two men. But like, I get it. This is their first event. This is the first Paramount event. The idea is going to be bringing in new people, right? Like here are new fans who have never had the product. There's no pay-per-view barrier to entry. It's at an earlier start time. Like CBS is going to get people in on it. You don't want to end that event with what could be a snoozer because Kayla versus Amanda could be a boring fight for a casual observer. I would bet you anything you want to bet right now that Justin Gaethje fighting Paddy Pimblett is going to be fun as hell for however long it goes. Like it's Justin Gaethje. He is the most proven commodity for ending the night.
What about Gaethje Arman?
I mean, that could be boring because Arman might just tackle him
run
and kill
over
him.
him.
Yeah. And by might, I mean, I think the overwhelming likelihood.
The only
is
reason
that.
they didn't do Arman Gaethje was because they want to build Paddy into a star. They want to give him almost Conor treatment. They want it to be a unification when he does fight Ilia. But Luke, does this mean that if you're Arman, you're definitely going to have to take another fight, right? Or you're going to be out for 6 to 9 months.
But like you said, he got family money. He doesn't have to fight for money. He could just sit.
I know, but he kind of has to fight just to keep his weapons sharp. You know what I mean? Like, dude, he might lose the entire year. I mean, consider something, right? So
he almost lost the entire last year until Hooker came out.
So understand. So they're going to have this fight in January. Then there's going to have to be some kind of title unification. Now that could happen at the White House. Let's assume on that calendar that it does.
Sure.
So then you have it in mid-June, and then the winner of that will have to defend against Arman. Except here's the problem: what if somebody gets injured? What if there's some kind of weird result and they have to do some kind of automatic rematch, or some kind of way where it delays? If I'm Arman, I'm planning on 2027. There's just no way to expedite this. And the thing I'm going to say about this is, look, if you get booked for a UFC title fight and you fumble it, whether it was an injury that was accidental or you missed weight, whatever it was, what the UFC counts on is, did you cross the finish line to help us make this fight possible? Did the train leave the station? Or were you Amtrak and Luke Thomas's train? Which means you didn't get to shit on time and you fucked up everything.
Or were you Osborne and everyone got on board?
Everyone got on board. But the point I'm trying to make is, we can all agree that the promotion's going to look at that very unfavorably. My only question is, when is Arman Tsarukyan's punishment over? Right? Yeah. When do we decide, okay, he's had enough? I don't know what the answer is. It feels like to me they already did that, and he should have been involved in the beginning of. Because by the way, BC, like,
he said he'd turn around in 2 months. He said he would.
That fight was not very difficult for him. He ran over Dan Hooker. To me, I understand it. I don't hate the fight as such, but it's going to fuck up things. They're robbing Peter to pay Paul on this one. I don't love it.
And I'm not saying this is a consolation, but Arman would get first call if something happens between Paddy and Gaethje, or if Ilia can't come back as early as possible. He could be back in that title picture. This is not some silent way of setting up Ilia versus Islam, right? This isn't freeing Topuria to do that.
Dana said they weren't doing that, but if they do that, once again, if you're Arman, when are you getting back into the calendar? You know what I mean?
And Arman retweeted that head-to-head, like, tail of the tape of him versus Dana that some fan created, which shows you the anger that he rightfully has at this moment. Is there any silver lining to this matchmaking from the idea, and I'm sounding like company man right here, but I'm giving you the devil's advocate side of it. Is there any side of you that's saying, I don't necessarily love this announcement or the Volk Diego Lopez 2 announcement, but we want them to get back into building stars, do we not?
Let me say this.
And if you're going to slow play Ilia versus Paddy, I'd rather slow play Ilia versus Paddy than rush it out January 24th without a build.
My view is this. It's that, again, to the point you raised, there are ways to look at that and be like, there's some sense to this matchmaking. The Lopez one is a little harder to justify for me, but again, we'll talk about that in a minute. My issue is that, what was the first pay-per-view in the ESPN era? Do you guys remember?
Was it a Holly Holm Brooklyn, or was it Cejudo TJ?
No. It was UFC 236, which was the one you attended.
Atlanta.
Which was Atlanta. It was the first pay-per-view in the ESPN era.
No, that was not. That was like in June.
I looked it up this morning.
That was in June, that fight.
Okay, please double check this.
It was in May or June.
Yeah.
Please,
I'll look it up.
Please double check this.
I would never believe that was the first pay-per-view.
It was the first pay-per-view.
I don't believe him.
It was the first numbered event. It was the second meeting between Holloway and Max. My point being, well, first of all, before I can go any further, we have to make sure.
Elvin.
Look at the Wikipedia entry for UFC 236, please, and read out what it says. Because I did this earlier.
Are you trusting Wikipedia now, Luke?
Well, a little bit.
I'm just telling you right now, I went to Cejudo Dillashaw first because we know that was the first
That was the first event. It was in Brooklyn. I was there for that. Yep.
So there was a scheduled UFC 233 after that did not happen. It was canceled. That was also supposed to be Cejudo Dillashaw. There's a couple fight nights here. UFC 234, Adesanya versus Silva.
That was the first in the
Australia,
ESPN era?
Yeah, that was February 2019.
Okay, let me double check this motherfucking shit.
Well, Luke, you're wrong.
Hold on.
I might
You know what? Wouldn't be the first or last time, but let me
Jed,
I want to double check this.
Because we do have to kind of put this to wraps to get into this weekend's card. But what's the justification on Volk versus Lopez 2? Is that just to give an exciting Brazilian-Mexican guy who can cross both countries a chance to go out there and do it a second time, even though he lost to Movsar Evloev, who is more deserving than him right now?
I'm with Luke's argument on the other thing. Like, it's
it was the first one, 236. ESPN Plus became the exclusive distributor of the UFC pay-per-view. Okay, never mind. Hold on, I'll come back to this.
Yeah, Luke's dead wrong. Get ready for Friday, folks. Dead wrong.
Fucking shit.
There's no way to really justify this fight, but I think the way it happened is what Luke said earlier. Like, they like Diego Lopez. He says yes a lot.
I was right. In the U.S., per an extension of its rights agreement with the ESPN through 2025, ESPN Plus became the exclusive distributor of the UFC pay-per-views for residential customers beginning at UFC 236.
Because they extended the deal shortly after it started.
So there was
They had a deal.
They had a 5-year deal, then they put a 2-year deal.
And then they kicked it to 7. Yeah.
Well, what was the first one that you had to have the ESPN?
I thought it was Holly
know.
versus GDR.
I was there for that one. Was it that one?
That's what I thought. I thought that was the first pay-per-view and it wasn't good.
So this is the first one after the extension, but this is 2019.
Yeah, and did it kick off in 2018? The original deal?
No, that was Brooklyn 2019. I was there for that one. January 2019.
Why is this relevant?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Ali Duran to me, by the way, was UFC 208. So that was way
way
Fox.
That's
Yeah,
ESPN era, isn't it?
No,
because 234 we just said was February of 2019,
Right.
which is the first year of ESPN.
You know
Are
who
we sure about that? Are we sure that's the first year of
That's what
ESPN?
we
Yeah,
need Jose
exactly.
Youngs here.
He would know this
He
shit.
would know this immediately.
All right. To close on Lopez Volkanovski, I understand that
terrible.
Murphy and Evloev are not sexy.
What about Aljo?
But Murphy took a sexy win to get into this point.
Aljo's
okay?
case for the title shot is decent, not great.
No, it's better than Lopez, who has the worst case for
Well,
a title
okay.
shot of all time.
Okay, I mean,
Dude, they should have done Aljo. You're right. They should have done Aljo. That would have been fun.
Nobody would have complained about
Former
that.
champion, name value.
Yeah.
A fight we haven't seen yet. If you still want to make Murphy and Evloev fight each other, that's fine. How does Lopez get to cut the line like this coming off the...
I can't justify Lopez cutting the line. I'm just saying I don't know that Sterling is the
He's not the most
top
deserving,
choice
but like,
either.
why not? It's just they clearly just don't want to give it to Lerone and Evloev for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe Evloev's ever going to fight for the belt. They seem to hate him for whatever reason.
Yes, they clearly seem to
And
hate him.
I don't know why Murphy's not getting it. He had so much momentum. They're not doing it. This is the most, I honestly think it's the second worst title shot ever given in the modern era.
Wow.
I think Masvidal Usman 2 was worse because that fight had no bearing on anything. This feels...
Don't forget, Holly Holm got the GDR fight off of 2 defeats.
Yeah, but
Jose Aldo also
the
got...
GDR fight was because Chris Cyborg wouldn't play ball and they did. That's at least like
Aldo
a
got
different
the
weight
Jan
class.
fight off
It's
of
also
2 defeats,
bad.
too.
Yeah, but he actually won, so it's
He
fine.
didn't beat Maresh in that first
Yeah,
fight.
100%
Anyway,
did.
thank you so much.